Know this. Introducing the original blood clot podcast, not players. Soothing semantic. Special dedication. All the way from New York. Boom. Yeah, man. SWOT semantic. Yeah, me know. Boom. Soothing semantic. Yeah, me know. Big ups to the man. Soothing semantic.
On another episode of Soothing Semantics, I'm your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe, like, share. Really, just subscribe already. People, a bunch of you are watching my episodes and not subscribing. So just subscribe to the channel. It's not that difficult. All your real estate needs, make sure to contact me. Send me an email at rafipinsky@kw.com. Contact me by cell 786-568-5081. Let's rocky roll.
There you go. I like that,
Yeah.
Rafi.
Yeah, so we have Rocky Zapata here on the show. Rocky is a motivational speaker, a father. He's a safety engineer.
I'm a safety engineer, yes,
Okay,
correct.
definitely want to go into that. Christian father, motivational speaker, teacher, safety engineer, leadership guru, and friend of God.
Friend of God,
Yes, also a friend of Bradley.
True.
Bradley Lee. It's a funny name, Bradley Lee.
The real Bradley.
Yeah, his name is Bradley Lee. It's also, I always thought it was Leah. Because the whole thing is just, dude, why do you have, he talks about simplicity and efficiency. Your name isn't efficient, Brad. You could have.
I'm sure he'll get this message.
I think, so funny story about Rocky and I make cold calls as a realtor. I call people every day. And Rocky happened to have been one of the people I called. And we were talking, and he said, hey, I'm not looking to sell. You were interested in selling, but you weren't exactly looking for a listing agent, which is exactly why I called you. So long story short, we end up having that conversation, and I'm asking him questions, trying to get a bigger picture of what he's looking to accomplish. And we end up discussing my podcast, and he tells me that he was on this guy's show, Bradley Lee. And I'm like, holy shit, I know Bradley. I don't know him, but like, I've been following him. I have interviewed some of his friends. Shout out to you, Brian Bogert, and Ken Jocelyn. I don't know if you've heard of either of them. But now you're the third. And it's just, it was so interesting because literally from a random cold call, there's a guy that I've been trying to get on my podcast for a while. And out of all people, you know him. It's just a small world, man. It's crazy.
Super small world. That is correct, yeah. It's incredible how, you'll just either meet people or make a phone call and, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And it's like we're all somehow interconnected to everybody.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's why, in the times like these, they say you got to be careful what you do, what you say, because somebody always
might
knows
know.
somebody.
Yep.
So, but it's a pleasure. Thank you for the invite, Rafi.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
It's awesome, and I'm definitely looking for a very productive podcast, so we can talk, family, leadership, business, God, and obviously how we're gonna, move forward, especially in the times that we live in today, and whether it's economy, stress, challenges, all these kind of things that we face as humans on a daily basis, and we have to have that leadership mentality to be able to move forward with the challenges of life. So I'm looking forward to a good podcast. So
Absolutely, man. It's going to be dope. We're going to rocky roll.
We're going to rocky roll.
I'm making a corny joke. People might not get it. His name is Rocky Roll. Okay, now I'm going to...
And that's my real name too, Rafi. That's my real name. By the way, to everyone. Everyone's always asking, or everyone always believes that Rocky is a nickname. It's birth certificate. My father wanted me to be a boxer. And as a kid, he kind of,
Is this really, are you telling me, is this serious? Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So his birth certificate, he wanted me to be a boxer. So as a little kid, I was maybe 4 or 5. I was a kid, I'm from Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, they used to just put us to fight, and box and take me to the gym. But obviously boxing didn't work out.
Yeah.
so that's why I'm other things other than a boxer. But yeah, that's how the whole Rocky name started with my father.
That's interesting.
My mom said, no, he's not going to be a boxer. His name is Ricky. And my dad says, no, there's too many Rickies out there, so we'll leave him Rocky. So that's where I actually get the Rocky
That's so
name
interesting.
from.
It's always interesting when a parent has this idea of what they want their kid to be early on? You think it's because your dad wanted to be a boxer himself, so he was trying to live vicariously through you or something?
Probably. Funny story is my dad wanted me to be a boxer. My mom wanted me to be a priest. So it was like
You could be both.
it could be both.
You could technically be both.
A pastoral boxer. I don't know.
Right?
So yeah, but I guess
Father Fury.
Father Fury. That's
Tyson
right.
Fury?
But you are right, Rafi, because I mean, me as a parent, I don't know if you've seen my daughter Leilani. She's 9 years old. Parenthesis, she's very expensive, by the way. Very expensive 9-year-old. But somehow I'm already shaping her, right? I think that in life, parents, should shape their kids to a certain degree.
Yeah, I agree.
Right,
completely.
to where they need to go in life. Because I hear a lot of parents and oh, well, let him follow his dream. That's kind of, being lazy to a certain degree, because how about the kid's dream is to be, I don't know, freaking, bumless, homeless. I don't know, I mean, listen, we've all been kids.
Crazy aspiration.
Right, we've all been kids, and I think to myself, man, if I, as a kid, you wanted to do so many things, and then you grow up and you're like, what was I thinking? I mean, what was I really thinking as a kid? That was like the stupidest idea in the world. So me as a father, I'm already, I started, here in Florida. We live in Florida. For those of you know, we have the Florida Prepaid College, which is, where you pay, college advance for kids. Right. Mm-hmm. So I already paid for my daughter's college in advance. So I already, have her college paid for. I paid it through that program, the Florida Prepaid College. I have her college paid for, what she's going to study, the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to drive her, right? I'm going to drive her through that.
So but if she decides not to go that route, let's say you want her to be an engineer.
Right.
If she chooses to be in special ed, do you have any quarrel with that?
I don't. I mean, eventually, they grow up and they make their own decisions, like you have, like I have.
Right. You just want to
but I'm definitely gonna, pave that road for her, where at least she can have an opportunity to choose and say, hey, Dad, I like this road you've paid for me, or you know what, Dad, no, I want to go do and be special ed, right, and better do that. But I think I've spoken to so many, young people out there, and I would tell you, Rafi, more than 80% of them tell me, I wish my parents would have guided me better. More than 80%. So I think there's a cry out on that out there with, many kids saying, I wish my parents would have, guided me better, taught me better. And listen, I get it. And don't feel bad. Not a lot of parents have that ability. Right. And as kids, we have to understand. I'll give you an example. My mother, Martha, my mentor. Okay, she's my mentor. I love her. I do anything for my mom. Okay, and my mom was always a humble waitress. Okay, and I saw her work hard. When we came to this country, and she was a waitress, and that's how she put food on the table. It was just mom and I. I grew up with a single mom. I'm an only child. I have no siblings.
By the way, I'm also I kind of share that with you. My grandmother raised me herself.
Your grandmother raised you,
and I was the only child.
And you were the only child.
I do have a half brother. My mother had another kid, but I never met him. So I grew up.
You never met him.
I grew up as an only child.
So my mom, being a waitress, she didn't have that schooling per se into guiding me where to go. But I mean, she was on top of me. You know what I mean?
So was my grandmother.
You better go to school. You better do something. And you know what? The reason I never picked up, any bad habits was because my mom was so tough on me.
Yeah.
Funny story. I don't smoke. I never smoked in my life. I don't drink alcohol. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because my mother was so tough on me when I was a kid. I was growing up, and every day was like, no alcohol, no drugs, no tobacco. No alcohol, no drugs, no tobacco.
You know what's interesting about that, real quick? There are people who would become alcoholics and say, "Oh, you know why I'm an alcoholic? Because my mom pushed me so hard."
Right.
And like this is the perfect example of you make your bed and now you sleep in it. Meaning, you can have wonderful parents and still be have a shitty outcome.
Yes,
of course. It's all a matter of like obviously it sounds like your mom gave you the right
whooping ass.
Yeah, ass whooping.
No. I mean, I don't know if I could say that word. But listen, my mother, I'll put it to you. And I know today, you can't do that because, 21st century, 2021, you can't whoop ass like we used to, like our mom. But listen, it worked for me because, when I used to slide to the left a little, I get a real nice big ass whooping and says, you better come back straight. So I grew up that way. My mom, I always call my mom the karate woman. Got slapped for that too. I couldn't call her karate woman. Called her a sergeant and got slapped for that too. So, it's like I used to get hit for what I did. I used to get hit for what my father did, I used to get hit for what my siblings did, which I had no siblings. It didn't even matter, It's like, but you know what? I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my mom.
You think it was good? You think it did you well that you got smacked around so much?
Oh my God! You know what? I'm thankful for my mom, 100%. Because as I told you, as a kid, we had certain thoughts of wanting to do other things, and you grow up now, and what some kids fail to understand is everything you do in life is gonna chase you some way or another.
Right.
I mean, everything. I mean, every move, every word is going to catch up to you some way,
man.
someday. So I thank my mom for it. Obviously, as a kid, I kind of didn't like, the beating and stuff.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I didn't like it at
I
all.
Totally thought you loved it.
No, I love.
Smack me, Mom. I've been waiting for the belt the entire day.
As a kid, as a kid,
yes.
I didn't like it. But now, as a mature man, it's like, thank you, Mom. You're awesome. And I'm the first one in my family to, go to college, start a business. I'm the first one in my family to become a millionaire. So I think it worked out all around, at every level for me. And, to my, to God first be the glory, and second to my mom, for everything she did for me. So all those moms out there, single moms, stay strong with the kids. Don't let them slide too much, because we could definitely go real left when they let us slide.
For sure. My grandmother actually never hit me, but I was so scared of her, man.
Really?
She yelled. When she yelled, she could wake up a neighborhood, and she's 4'11", tiny woman, but she is so intimidating. When she, now at this point in my life, I'm a lot older and bigger, whatever. But it wasn't that I was afraid of her physically. It's just whatever she said, she followed through with.
Right.
If she said, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. There was no, I'll count to 10 and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
She was completely, she followed through with every single punishment. And I just knew that what was coming, and I just never played around with it. So obviously, unless she told me to come home at 11, I came home at 12, whatever. But I was relatively a good kid, man. I used to party a lot, for sure. But didn't do drugs. I definitely had a period where I drank a nice amount when I was in my teens and early 20s. I pounded alcohol pretty heavily.
Really?
Yeah, I was just I was never an alcoholic, thank God. I would never really drink by myself, but just socially, man. Yeah,
okay.
Going out with my
yeah.
boys, having a good time.
Yeah.
Like I did a lot of that.
Well, you know what? Now, Rafi, I mean, I've tried alcohol, and it just doesn't go anywhere, man. It's like, it's like, hey, you guys got a natural juice back there, because it just...
Wine, not even wine? You don't appreciate good wine?
I do appreciate nice wine with a good dinner. But one, I mean, literally one glass. I mean, I can't get past one glass, because I'll definitely start rocking and rolling.
Rocky and roll, yeah.
But yeah, nice steak, nice glass of wine.
Good steak and good wine is delicious.
It is delicious. So yeah, my mom always possessed that, leadership mentality, and it's what moved me forward. Where that always said, work hard, never give up. And I saw my mom work hard. It's about example, and that's another thing with leaders. Leaders need to lead by example. It's like sometimes we tell our kids or people we lead, or our employers, or anyone that looks up to us, we tell them to do certain things, and we do the opposite.
Right.
And one key factor we need to understand that, leaders lead by example, and your example will always speak louder than your words.
There's a great picture. I'm going to post it in the episode. You see, one says, I think, boss, and the other says leader, something along those lines. And it basically shows what looks like Egyptian people. You know how they have it on the hieroglyphics? So it shows, when it says boss, it shows this guy behind getting kind of carried by all of his slaves, right? And then, so he's in the back. Leader shows the opposite. He's in the front, and he's leading everybody.
Okay.
And if you think of that militarily, think about a general who goes in on the front lines and really just takes, especially in these movies, how you have anyone you can think of, Thor, Troy, whatever it is, you have these guys leading from the front, with the
Right.
sword, and they
Yeah.
just go on horseback. Oh, dude.
Well, I mean, there's a huge gap, right? I mean, there's a huge gap between leaders and followers, right? And that huge gap is nothing more than thinking. You know what I mean? I mean, leaders possess a different mental attitude, right? And this mental attitude, right, this way of thinking of the leader is what actually controls how you as a person, you as a leader, responds to life, right? Responds to crisis, responds to failures, disappointments, the response to challenges, right? Response to stress. So that gap, right? Really, that gap between those leaders and the followers is that mental attitude that leaders actually possess. And especially when you're leading your kids, you're leading your organization, you need that mental attitude because you're going to face challenges, you're going to face stress. And you know what? Leaders always have resolutions. You have to find resolutions.
Because there's no one you're going up to. When you have your own company, you could have a mentor, obviously,
Yes.
and go to someone else for advice, and I think that's so important. But when you're the owner of your own company, people are coming to you for answers.
They do.
Yeah, I'm just kind of expounding on what you're saying. But yeah, man, that's so true.
It is.
But that's also when it comes to leaders, you have the stress of being a leader, which means that you're constantly grinding and working and
You are.
trying to innovate and invent things and brainstorm. Whereas an employee, which is fine, they're always going to be necessary and required. They have their box, depending on what kind of employee
Right.
they are. But they have their box, they do their job, and that's it.
And that's it.
Have you heard of Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David? Ever heard of
I
this?
did, yes.
I was a big fan of him, and he has a guy Mario that works for him, they have this term entrepreneur.
Right.
Only until recently have I heard about this concept entrepreneur, and it's so interesting because he is an employee, but he's a very creative employee.
Okay.
So you've heard the term entrepreneur?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so he is given the opportunity to, although he's part of a company that's not his, he can be innovative and outside the box.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? I was talking to a CEO the other day. He brought me in the in my safety consulting firm, and we were, I was talking to the CEO, and the CEO brought in one of his, high honcho managers, and I did a study of his organization, safety related, hazard wise, where they need to go. And I told him, listen, one of the things you need to do is, train, right? Train people. And his manager sitting next to him, he's like, hey, what happens if we train them and they leave? And I says, yeah, what happens if you don't train them and they don't leave?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's hard.
That entrepreneur thing, it's a great concept. If you actually have someone like that in your organization, right? I mean, if you have someone that thinks that way, because ultimately, this way of thinking actually empowers, right? Empowers the leaders, empowers this entrepreneur, right? With faith and believe in possibilities. Right. And ultimately, that's what it's all about, to lead an organization, to lead people. I mean, listen, life is not easy for anyone, right? Anyone that says life is easy, it ain't easy for anyone, right? There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be tough times, right? I mean, what did Jesus tell us, right? Jesus said, hey, in this world, you will have what? You will have hard times. Right, you will have difficulties, but don't worry, because I have overcome the world. And many times, we have a lot of things that get thrown at us in life, and I get it. Many of the things that get thrown at us is not all our faults, right? I mean, yeah, some stuff we cause. Okay, let's not sugarcoat things either. Okay,
without a doubt.
I mean, a lot of the things we cause, for them in life. Yeah, there's some things that are going to come that, yeah, you didn't cause. I agree with you. But whichever way, whichever side of the spectrum you find yourself in, you got to have that way of thinking where, you know what, we're going to move forward. We're going to make the best out of this. And you know what? A year from now, it's all going to be over and new times are going to come our way.
So good. That's so accurate. Because, the pain is temporary, man. The hard times don't last forever.
No, hard times.
But they will, or they'll last a hell of a lot longer if you let it fester, if you don't just figure out a way to overcome that obstacle.
Well, you know what? That's why we were talking about age earlier, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think I've heard a lot of people say, like, it's too late for me to change. It's too late for me to change this. It's too late for me to change
It's crazy
that.
how people my age think that. It's so nuts.
And you know what? I tell people, don't ever say that. It's never too late to change. I mean, the reality is, and this is the reality, right? I mean, how do I put it to you? Like yes, not our change, right? Not our change is geared towards improvement. I get it, right? Yes, not our change is geared towards improvement, but change is a requirement for improvement. I mean, at the end of the day.
Right.
So I always tell people, listen, don't ever say you're too old to change. It's too late for you. No, while there's life and you're waking up in the morning and you're breathing and you open your eyes, there's definitely opportunity for change, opportunity for a new you, opportunity for a new day. It does not matter your past, So I always tell people, hey, gear up, wake up and smell the coffee and rock and roll and, go eat it that day. Go eat the day, go eat the job, the business, the work, take your family out and enjoy life.
Do you think some people are just predisposed to not having any sort of ambition and drive? Because it's like for some people, and I can say this very confidently, for both of us, for you and I, we're both just naturally I don't think I was born this way, per se. I think my grandmother put a ton of confidence in me and gave me a lot of attention and always believed in me, and that was huge for my upbringing. And I've worked very hard to build myself to a point where I just can't picture myself not working hard and accomplishing things. But I think it's to some degree my nature, whereas some people, it's just for them, there's nothing they really want to do. If you left it up to them, they just want to get paid to live, and they'll just sit on the couch, eat Cheetos, and watch TV.
And that's the gap, right? That's the gap between the followers and the leaders. And I think, I'm going to I'm touching on too much points here, but visit my website, rockyzapata.org, on the Leadership University. I touch a lot more in detail with this. But going back to that point of yours, Rafi, yes, I think that's also part of the emotional intelligence of people, right? I mean, people have to learn how to manage their emotions. I mean, you have to be emotional intelligent, because for you to be successful at anything in life, and listen, when we talk success, we're not talking about money. Okay, everybody else is successful. You're a millionaire. You're a billionaire. Especially now. They came out with a new $100 billion club that only 10 or 11 people are in there.
That's so crazy.
The over $100 billion club. So, but I always tell people, what? Money is not success.
By the way, the Taliban is almost in that club.
Have you seen that?
Thanks to Biden. Thanks to Biden. Thanks to Biden.
Oh my God! Yeah, thanks to our. Let me say how that. Thanks to the guy we have in office.
Yeah.
But ultimately, people have to have emotional intelligence, because to be successful at anything, you gotta learn how to manage your emotions. Sometimes when we are confronted with situations in life, we lose it. Right, we lose it. We're not thinking right. I always tell people, listen, when you're going through a situation, you need to step back. You need to relax and never take a decision at the moment. You cannot take a decision, because you're going to take the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
Or completely wrong. You need to let time pass. Close social media. Okay, stay away from people for a week or two and relax and think about things. If you need a mentor, find a mentor, that's expert in that topic that you're going through, and then make the right decisions. This happens a lot with people getting divorced, Rafi?
Yeah, man.
They go crazy. I won't get divorced.
So many reasons. Divorce is a whole nother conversation, because truthfully, I don't know, because I've never been married.
Okay.
But that's a whole nother. Yeah, I mean, I think we've gone away from certain traditional values that work.
Right.
I think we've kind of modernized things and just accepted everything to the point where there's no kind of sense of what is right and wrong, which is very subjective, because in any country, cultures, these things are different. I don't know. I think also we've become so interested in instant gratification.
Yes.
That when we look at even a marriage, we're so used to just having everything because the world is so small now. You can go on an app and choose the woman you want or choose the man you want, like you're going to the mall and you're shopping for somebody. Right. So it cheapens these things. So it's cool because it brings a lot of convenience.
It does.
But with that convenience comes, if there was superficiality, if that's a word, materialism, more than there was in the past. So that creates a whole situation.
I think even people, when they search for that soulmate, and I've actually seen people trying to find somebody to make them happy. And I tell people, there's no one in this world, humanly speaking, right, flesh and bones, that can make you happy. Like, you literally have to be happy on your own. You gotta enjoy yourself. You gotta love Rafi for who Rafi is, and you gotta see yourself in the mirror and says, man, I love Rafi, and man, Rafi, you're cool as hell,
Dude, a couple of shots in, and I'm just, forget about it. I love you, man. You're the best. You're the man. Yeah.
Give me a kid. A couple shots in. You want a son? Give me a son. But people gotta love themselves.
No, man. I honestly, I not in, and I think also, let me just, I think people have a very big misunderstanding of loving yourself and being conceited, right? So it's like there are people who are very insecure, or they have a very low self-confidence. They see somebody that really loves themselves, and they hate on that.
Right.
Instead of showing appreciation for it and admiring it and trying to emulate it, they go, "Who does he think he is?"
Yeah.
It's like
haters.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's like if you were happy with yourself and you genuinely loved yourself, even if that person seems off to you or their energy isn't for you, you're just gonna say, okay, that person isn't my person.
Yeah.
Like, we don't vibe the same way. They're still cool. It's all right. Like, I'm just not that down to chill with them.
Yeah.
And that's it. But you don't have to be like, oh well, they do. You know, they.
But you know what? As a leader, Rafi, fun fact, it gets to a point where the haters become the fuel, right?
100%.
I mean, it's like I love the haters so much. It's like I couldn't be who I am without them. It's like, if I ever get a Grammy or something, it is like, I want to thank the haters. This could have never been possible without you, like not one bit. So
everyone's throwing tomatoes at you.
You know what I mean?
You're just catching them, chucking them back, putting them in a salad.
And I tell people, listen, the more you grow, the more you advance, the more you succeed, get ready, because the more hatred you're going to receive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's just part of it, right? It's just the way things are. So, people got to, obviously learn to love themselves. But obviously, I always tell people as well, you can't think you're better than everybody either, right? There's a thin line, right? Hey, listen, I'm Rocky. I love myself, right? I'm good at what I do. I think I'm the best at what I do, but I don't think I'm better than you, right? At the end of the day, because I don't think that by me winning and by you losing is going to make me any better either. Uh-huh. Because at the end of the day, the leader's number one priority is people growth. So I think as the leader, you always have to ensure that people around you are growing, right? If people around you are not growing, then there's a huge problem with your leadership, right? You can't just always want to, be at the top and people under you. No, you have to push people to grow.
You want to build up the leaders too.
You have to build it up, right? I mean, leaders build leaders at the end of the day, right? Humans have humans, dogs have dogs, cats have cats, and leaders have to develop leadership. Mm-hmm. And so I think people have to love themselves, and when people go out and try to find that relationship, people try to find someone that makes them happy. And it's like, listen, if you don't have the ability to be happy on your own and to love yourself for who you are, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, you can't expect somebody else to make you happy.
There's too many people like this. I personally know, and they're good friends of mine, some of them. They, in my opinion, have a very hard time being productive on their own. And they always seem to need to be with a woman,
right,
in order to feel like they can go and accomplish.
Right.
Oh, now I have a woman. Now there's pressure. Now I have to go and be productive. It's like, you should be productive regardless.
You should be productive regardless.
What if she's not there anymore?
Yeah.
What if you get divorced? What if you guys break up? Then what?
Right.
Then you have to find another woman to fill that void. And why can't there be a level of wanting to do things without that person.
Yeah.
And when you have that person, hopefully it'll only build, and
It has
that
to.
person will
Right.
help make things even stronger. But there has to be a foundation.
It is, because I mean, you're happy on your own.
Absolutely.
You find somebody that's happy on their own, and like you say, you both come together and you build.
But you're both
right?
happy, yeah.
And you build bigger. You know,
Yeah.
you build better, and you build together, right? And I mean, at
Build
the end
bigger,
of the day,
build better, build together.
you know what I mean? And I think everybody deserves that in life, right? I mean, listen, we're not, us human beings, we're not made to be alone. We're not, you know? I mean, we have, wives and, siblings, if you have some, and parents, and, friendships, and work relationships, business. So we're not meant to be alone. You know what I
Right.
mean? We're not meant to live life alone. No one's meant to live life alone. But once it comes to that love life, you can't expect other people to make you happy, because it's never gonna work out.
Sure.
And I see a lot of relationships and marriages, which a lot of people call me for that. And listen, I'm no relationship expert. I will admit that. I'm definitely no relationship expert. But I got my stripes. You know what I mean? I got my stripes.
Yeah.
And I was listen. I tell people, you can't expect the other person to make you happy. You're not happy on your own. I mean,
sure.
and I'm gonna say this. That's just me. I mean, if people don't believe in God, I respect that. But at least me, I believe in God.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think Jesus, my Savior. He's my number one. And when I gave my life to Jesus, He made me whole. He made me happy. He made me complete.
Mm-hmm.
And I think or I know, because of the fact that only Jesus has the true power to make every human being happy. Complete, whole and happy. So, I'm happy on my own with Jesus, right? With my Savior, and my Heavenly Father, Jehovah. And then hopefully, you find that other person that's happy on her own, and you come together and you build, you build together. So, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And leading in that aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, these are all very good points. I spiritually, for me, I mean, I'm Jewish, so you know how it is. But
Yeah.
I respect all that. Whatever works in terms of your business, right? So you're a safety engineer.
I do. So I'm a safety engineer. I have a firm that provides services
Promote your business, brother.
to clients, right? We do, pretty much all around their, safety for the organizations. We maximize their profits. So, we'll do some training for them.
Did Brad get in touch with you because of your business? How did he find you? How
How did we find each other?
did we find each other? Okay,
Yeah, that's a good question. How did I find, or how did
Was
he
it from a
find?
cold call?
No,
was being
no, it wasn't. You want to sell your house? No, I wasn't. I came. How did I meet Brad? I think I was in Vegas, and it was through a friend, or I don't. You know what? That's a good question. How did I meet Brad? I'll get back to you on that.
You don't even remember? You don't remember?
Yes, I do. So it was through this friend that I don't remember her name now.
Okay.
And I started working on. Brad has the LVT.
VT,
Yeah, speed. So
Speed VT.
I started working, or not working, producing my videos
Okay.
through his agency, and I think and that's how we linked up. So
okay.
I started the LVT, speed. So I started producing and recording in his studios and stuff. So that's how we.
Where is he based?
Las Vegas. So he's in Vegas. Yeah, he's in Vegas.
But you said you were doing it in his studio. How does that work if you're in different states? What do you? I think I'm not understanding.
I flew. I've been in Vegas a couple times.
But you're talking about your show, you said?
My video. So if you go to my website, I have a leadership university. So I filmed the leadership
I've seen some of your
university
stuff.
there. Yeah.
Oh, so you did that all there. Okay,
I
but
did that, yeah.
Why there of all places if you could have been local?
Brad has, the whole system set up for it and full blown. So you should check him out. He has a full blown studio over there. Literally full blown. Real nice studio. And then obviously I went over to podcast with him to be a guest on a show. So he has that, that live speed. I mean, he has like John Maxwell, Damon John are also part of it. So they all.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Damon
yeah.
John is part of that.
Yeah.
That's
So So Damon John has recorded some videos there with Brad.
That's awesome.
So it's a nice studio he has up there. So we linked up there, and then I won guest on the.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I'd love to come on the podcast with Bradley Lee.
Brad, get this guy on.
Yeah,
We'll text
dude.
him. We'll text him after. We're gonna text.
He likes playing hard to get with me.
We'll text him on a Saturday. How about that?
Yeah, he likes playing hard to get with me. But dude, I love his content, man. His content's so good. I'm not kissing ass, Brad. I'm being genuine.
Yeah,
it's great.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. Brad gets away with what a lot of people don't get away with because he's so real. Like, he's the real deal. The guy that tells you how it is.
I hear you. You know what it is? It's yeah. That's a very good point. I don't even think most of what he says is so outrageous. What he says is just triggers a lot of people in the age we live in.
It does.
Because we live in a very pussified age.
We do, yes.
So everyone goes, "Oh, that hurts." Ugh.
I know.
And they just get so they scrunch up into a ball. Like, ugh. It's like. So
I had somebody tell me once, "Yo, tell Brad he needs sensitivity training."
Who said that? Who said that?
Some dude.
He meant it?
Yeah, no, I don't know if he meant it, but some dude I was talking to, he's like, "Yo, tell Brad this." I says, "Man, listen, the guy is real. Leave him alone." And you know what it is? In a time where a lot of people are fake, you got to appreciate real people.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate real people. And unfortunately today, being real is dubbed as disrespectful. No, I'm just being sincere with you. I'm just telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
That's why people had a hard time with Trump. That's why I'm always going to love New York at the end of the day. Like, I'm a Floridian. I love living here.
Yeah.
But some of my closest friends here are New Yorkers because there's always that level of bluntness.
Right.
I can just tell them what's up, and they just,
Well, listen, Trump he's just direct, right? He told you as it is. I mean, like me, I'm an alien, right? I'm an immigrant. I'm from Nicaragua.
Did you take your UFO?
I'm a UFO, right?
Funny joke.
And I had people tell me,
one of the dumbest jokes.
I have people tell me, Trump's a racist. I says, how is he a racist, people? He doesn't like Mexicans, doesn't like Central Americans. I'm like, I don't feel that way. I don't know. You guys are so sensitive, man.
Yeah.
And then I tell him, you know what? I said, Obama, he made you feel like he loved you, but he deported short of 3 million Latinos back to their home country. Okay? And right months before he finished his term, he removed the dry feet, wet feet law for the Cubans. You know what I mean?
No, what is that, by the way?
So what was it before is, Cubans with the whole Fidel Castro dictatorship. They've been in it for, over 50 years. So what happened was when Cubans would flee Cuba, and they would actually, and if the Coast Guard did not intercept them in water and actually apprehend them in water, if they actually touched land, they were good. Within a year and 1 day, they were already residents of the country. So
how does that work? Why is that?
Well, because they had the wet, dry feet law. It was only for Cubans. So per se, they got on a raft. They made it to South Florida.
Literally what it is. If you can make it here, we'll give
if you made it here, right, and they touched dry land, which was the wet feet.
It's literally like Squid Games, dude.
Right, the wet,
like
yeah.
Squid Games.
So the wet feet was on water. The dry feet was once you hit land, and once you hit land, you welcome to America. You were good. So they were not getting deported.
What rule is that, though?
Well, it was
just let them come in the first place. Why put them through all that misery?
Well, because you can't. If you let them come, everybody will come.
Gonna come.
Everybody will come. I mean, who doesn't love America? This is the best nation in the world.
Literally, it's in a sense, it's a smart strategy because it's like, hey, you know what? Let's pick out the strong ones.
You know what I mean?
Let's pick out the ones who are smart and physically capable enough to go here.
So once Cubans touched land, they were not. They weren't getting deported. They were good at that point. Obama removed that. He deported 3 million, immigrants. So, but then he'll kiss you in your face and love you, but he's deporting you in back of you. Trump tells you things in your face. Economy was booming. Gas was very low. Inflation was low. We were stocked in our supermarkets. We had vehicles everywhere, but because he wrote a couple mean tweets, people were getting, sensitive about it. So, I could definitely go for lower gas and a mean tweet.
Oh, dude, I could go for. I think ultimately, man, we're so blessed as a nation that we're becoming too soft, and this is a history repeats itself.
Yes.
Simple story where we're gonna get very soft, and then we're going to get a kick in the ass, which we're already getting in many respects. We're going to continue to get kicked in the ass until we have to start to kind of go back to the way it was. Something I saw that was hilarious was there's a podcast called The Roommates Podcast. I don't know if you've ever seen it,
no.
but two very, very cool guys, and they interview some very big people. And they made a post on their YouTube channel, and it said, if you are a caveman 15,000 years ago, and you're a caveman 15,000 years ago, and you're hunting, right? They're spearing bison or whatever they're doing, and you have to now look for food elsewhere. There's no just, I don't know, the bison left. They went somewhere else or whatever it is, or you killed them all. Here's 4 options. Do you go and find a new herd of bison? Do you complain that there are no bison left? I have to find this. It literally, the moral of the story is, if we were living in those times back in the day, we wouldn't be in the predicament where we can start complaining about this ridiculous, well, I want that kind of bison. Well, my spear just isn't the right color. I would love to have a pink spear. It's like, no, you take whatever the fuck you can use and you kill the damn thing, because if you don't, you're going to have nothing to eat and your family's going to starve. But nowadays, we live in this world where it's, well, I need a safe space. I don't really feel comfortable today. It's like, do you understand what you're capable of as a person? Like, do you understand what a human being can do? I'm trying to find this, but I got so heated. I just got to finish this point. I'm in the zone, baby.
You're in the zone.
We're such adaptive, brilliant creatures, and so many people just waste their talents and abilities and capabilities to do nothing. It's like you have one life, and for me, it's just I've internalized this because I've heard it a million times from successful entrepreneurs. Right. People say it all the time. And the more I live and experience and have these small little wins, I have different people on my podcast. I mean, I can go all day on the things that I love about my life, but just continuing to climb the rung on the ladder every day and get closer and closer to where I want to be. It's fucking amazing, dude.
It is.
Even though I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm not a millionaire yet. I have a lot of things I want to accomplish. I want to find a good woman, settle down, have kids, do all those things. But in the meantime, in the interim, I'm loving the process. Right. There's a lot of hard moments, difficult, get knocked in the face, but I love it, dude.
You do love it, huh?
It's because I can't imagine living any other way. I just can't. I can't be an employee, man. I'm a leader through and through. And
you'll find your woman, though. Don't worry.
I'm sure I will.
I got faith. I got a cousin there.
As long as she's Jewish, we might have to convert her.
She has to convert.
We have to convert her.
She'll convert her, right? Yeah. But no, man. So yeah, we're living in the times where I think, and listen, I'm gonna say it again. Life ain't easy for nobody. It is what it is.
That's also I know I'm not trying to cut you off real quick. That's what I also say is it's going to be hard anyway.
Yes. At
least do the hard thing that's going to give you an easier life afterward. Like if you take the easy route now, it'll be hard later. If you take the hard route now, it'll hopefully be a lot easier later. And there's a much higher probability that will happen versus taking the easy route. So it's like it's going to be hard anyway.
It is going to be hard anyway.
Do what's going to make you happy and give you what you want. Yeah.
Life is tough, man. It ain't easy. I mean, my mom taught me, you got to fight for what you want. And
or I'm going to kick your ass if you don't.
Yeah, well, that was the second part.
So I think your dad named you Rocky thinking you were going to be the fighter, but it turned out you were Rocky that got your ass kicked.
They got by my mom, though. And my mom was so tough that I was like, well, maybe 9 years old, 10 years old. I got hit in school. I got home thinking my mom was going to feel bad for me. Go back to your point. She whooped my ass. She says, listen, you don't fight. You don't pick on people. But if you get picked on, you defend yourself. Mm-hmm. If you don't defend yourself, I'm whooping your ass. Nobody ever touched me again, brother. Because I'm not getting my ass whooped twice. I'm not getting my ass whooped in school.
Wow.
I'm not getting my ass whooped at home. How about that?
But you don't think, it sounds like your mom really kicked your ass all the time. You really think you deserve to be hit that much, dude?
Well, you know what? It's funny because I gotta ask. No, you want to laugh? Great joke. I was having dinner with her on Thursday. And I'm like, Mom, remember when you used to hit me? And you know what? She doesn't remember. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, Mom, like, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
She did it so often.
She did it so often, you know.
Good morning, Rocky. How you doing?
She's like, oh my God, you know, you're such an exaggerator. I'm like, Mom, like, I felt the hate, you know.
Meanwhile, you have this like awake nightmare, right? You're daydreaming, sitting in the corner, just picturing your mother like lurking over in the shadows, and you're like, you know what I mean?
Well, meanwhile, I tell my daughter to sit down, and my mom says I'm a mean guy. I mean, you know, sit down, Leilani. Oh my God, you're going too rough on the girl. I'm like, Mom, like, yo,
you used to kick my ass.
What do you mean I'm going rough? I just told her to sit down. You used to. She's like, man, you know, you need to be nicer to her. I'm like, are you serious right now? Well, I said, let's open the debate of nice about that.
I'm so confused. How does she not realize the incongruency there of her like literally beating the shit out of you, and now you're yelling at your daughter, and she's does she not remember?
Well, because you know what it is. No, you know what it is. And every grandparent will tell you this. Grandparents, grandchildren run around grandparents all day. So my mom tells me, listen, I did my job with you. Your daughter is your responsibility to raise. My job as a grandmother is just love her and give her what she wants.
By the way, it's awesome being the grandparent.
It is.
Because you just get to be the good. You get your child is the evil one, and you get to just come on the holidays and give the presents. So you're always the one that everyone loves.
You know, when I get tough on my daughter, calls my mom. Oh, Grandma, Dad is being mean. Hey, Dad, Grandma says she's gonna come after you right now. It's like, Mom, you can't do that. You know what I mean?
You still do that?
Yeah, it's like she's a nice lady. I'm the mean guy. You know?
Are you still gonna run from your mom?
I'm still
gonna run from your mom?
No, my mom is like the sweetest lady in the world, man. My mom is like so sweet today, you know. It's like, Mom, you're so sweet today. It's out of this world. I love my mom. Well, I wouldn't be who I am today without my mother. So, she's my all. Put it that way. If I run a mile, my mom's coming with me. You know what I mean? No matter what it is. So, I've actually, for her birthday 2 years ago, I got her a brand new Lexus. So.
Oh, that's
hooked her up. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But, you know, she's so humble because I'm like, Mom, I want to get you a new car. What do you want? Oh, you know, give me a Toyota Corolla, something cheap. I says, Mom, we'll get you something, you know, nice. You know, like, what do you want? And this is the second car I was getting her. Before that, I got her a RAV4. So. Just pick something. She's so humble, you know. I don't want you to spend money. You know how moms are, you know. I'm like, Mom, this is for the ass whoopings, you know what I mean? Pick a car, you know what I mean? You deserve a car for the ass whoopings. How about them? We're gonna call this car the ass whooping car, you know what I mean? So yeah, I got her a new Lexus. So I always say, listen, man, if I grow, my mom grows with me. You know, she ain't staying back. I guarantee you that. You know what I mean? I love my mom, and for those of kids out there, take care of your mom, honor her. Not only, with respect, but with finances. You got to honor your parents with your finances. So my mom, she goes out with me, buddy. She never pays anything. Awesome. Okay, I take care of her. If I travel, my mom's with me. So I love her. Even though she whooped my ass, I love her too much. So
I'm sure she's so grateful, man.
And you know what, man? I have so much respect for her. Even though I'm 37, I mean, she says anything, I be quiet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, I have so much respect for my mom. It's, whatever she says, Rocky, this, and I have tons of respect for her. I would never disrespect my mother, no it's her butts. Not even for one bit, So, thanks to her, Rocky is Rocky, and this is where the story starts.
That's it, man.
So, I know you didn't get the ass whooped by the grandma, but
no, but she definitely, I listened to her. I always respected her. I respected her by default because of what she did for me. Because she raised me at 49 years old. She raised a baby at 49 years old. When she already had problematic kids. Right. Did not have money. She had a very tough life. So I think just as I grew up, I understood that this woman did something she quite frankly didn't have to do. Yes. She took a huge sacrifice to raise me, and she focused so much. She made me I guess focal point. I was so important, such an important part of her life, and I just said, how can I not respect someone like that? You know what I mean? Yeah. So no, moms are cool. We love moms and grandmas, right? So those single moms out there, stay strong, raise the kids, right?
and everything you do for them, that tree will bear fruits, right? Along the way. So you'll be proud of your kids, and the kids will be proud of your. I'm super proud of my mom, and she was a waitress, like I told you, humble waitress, but I'm proud of it. That's what she was, and I love my mom. Grew up in socialist Nicaragua. Not a lot of opportunities. Like we have in this great country, full of opportunities. But
that's another thing people don't. All these Americans who've been living here for generations don't. They complain about so many things about America. It's like, first of all, be happy you're allowed to complain.
There you go.
Many places you can't even complain if you wanted to, and it's like you're complaining about things that are, yeah. I mean, no one's perfect. Right. Go ahead and complain. I'm not saying there isn't work to do. It's not a perfect country. There is no such thing. But think about what you have here. People are so entitled, man.
Well, I think, Rafi, also there's a thin line between complaining and providing solutions to certain things, because at the end of the day, I think it was Theodore Roosevelt, don't quote me on this, but I think it was him that said, when you complain too much, it becomes like you're whining at this point, and you got to be grateful for what you have.
Right.
At the end of the day, listen, everyone in life wishes they had a little more of everything. We all do, but you still got to be happy with what you have. And like, per se, Nicaragua, where I'm from, we have presidential elections next month in November. And literally all the opposition party candidates, they're all in jail. Like if you literally go to Nicaragua now, before the elections, which, the dictator, right, the assassin, Daniel Ortega, if you go there now and says, hey, Daniel Ortega, I got my, just say, New Vision party, just to say something, right? And I want to run for president. You won't last 5 minutes. You'll be put in a truck and we'll put in jail. So people don't see, the reality of the freedoms that we have in this country. You can talk bad about the president. You can say, let's go Brandon all day. And you're good. Yeah. Let's go Brandon. let's go Brandon again. But I usually don't curse, but I say let's go Brandon again. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I said it 4 times. I'm sorry, Rafi. I said that 4 times. But the reality is, we can say these things in this country. You go to Nicaragua, man. People give their lives. People have given their lives for just saying something incorrectly. Today, as we sit now, speaking, there's people in jail in Nicaragua currently now, only because they want to make a difference in their country and because they want to have an opportunity to be a candidate for a presidential election. That is their crime. So
many countries like this.
That's a lot of them. So, hey, America, the best nation in the world. I don't care what anybody says. USA, and if you don't like it, I'll definitely hook you up with a house in Nicaragua. Yeah, you can definitely go there.
I don't know why people, if they don't, it's like one thing if you want to change certain things, but if you want to change you want to totally flip America on its back, change it from capitalist to socialist or communist, just leave the country,
Just leave the country.
Just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Stop trying to change it. And it's like, you can argue and say, well, it would be better. This is a capitalist country. If you don't like it, just go somewhere else, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
You want to change certain values, certain rules, if they make sense, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but this country is this country because of capitalism, because of the free market. If you don't like it, if you want handouts, just leave.
Just leave.
I'd be happy to help you leave. Very happy. I really would love to just... in terms of your work, though, you didn't go too much into that. We ended up talking about, like, Brad and all that. We kind of...
that's right. We kind of... So I have a safety consulting firm, so we provide training for employees. We give consulting to corporations, organizations, enterprises on how to lead a better safety program. We create safety program for companies. We give the oversight of all their safety. Mm-hmm. Obviously, going to work these days is very important to stay safe. Mm-hmm. To go back to your family. So we do all of that. Also, I defend the clients. If OSHA, gives them a citation or whatnot. So our firm defends the clients.
That's awesome.
to ensure they don't get fined, and if they do, it be the minimum. And at the end of the day, finding solutions, right? Finding solutions to growing problems. And the tough part of our jobs is accident investigations, right? Because at that point, something occurred, either a serious incident or a fatality. So now we have to go investigate, the root cause, right, of that incident, and find some proposals for abatement, to avoid a reoccurrence of this incident moving forward. So it's been fun for me, it's been fun for me in this firm, and other safety engineers that work with me. We make a difference out there for organizations and employees. And I mean, I've probably taught over 15,000 people, just in that area of safety, just in the South Florida market.
Wow.
So
15,000
yeah.
Wow.
Just in the South Florida market. I mean, it's huge. So from safety
Have
training.
you taught people outside of the Florida market? Because you just...
I have. So I have some clients in Texas, but are my huge niche. It's in the South Florida market, and I'll tell you why my huge niche is in the South Florida market. Because I found a success to my business, and that success to the business is being bilingual. Because of the workforce is Latino down here. Being in the business myself, these organizations were finding someone that can speak the language of these people. And I found that niche. And I says, you know what? This is a niche. I'm going to capitalize on this niche. There's not a lot of, bilingual safety engineers out there, or not a lot of them that are willing to start their own company and risk not having a salary for a month or two. So I took that niche. I saw the need of that market, and just blew up from there.
It's incredible. But having those two languages in South Florida is so important. I need to learn Spanish, but it's going to be tough.
Rosetta Stone.
Does that really work, man? I feel like I just need to talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I speak Hebrew also, so
Okay.
at least I'm bilingual with that. So that's already helpful, because you do have a lot of Jewish people here. You do have a lot of people from Israel who live in South Florida. So if I hear someone on the phone, if I see their name, that's enough for me usually. But sometimes they'll have like a European Jewish name, and then you can't tell. Basically, a lot of Israeli Jews are what's called Sephardic, which means they're either from Middle Eastern or Spanish descent.
Okay.
And then Ashkenazi is more European. Ultimately, most Jews come from Israel, so they're all Mediterranean or Middle Eastern, but when they were kicked out of Israel and they were conquered, they spread to different parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? So the European ones tend to have names like Goldberg, Weinstein.
Okay.
The ones you see in Hollywood, think like Barbara Streisand, whatever. There aren't really too many Sephardic Jews in show business.
Okay.
They're more watch dealers, jewelry, real estate. They are very smart as well and very successful, but they're usually not the face of because a lot of them have come to America later on. The European Jews came earlier. What was I trying to get at? Oh, but in terms of just names, yeah, I could just know right away if someone's Israeli. Usually, I just see their name and I hear their accent. They go, "Yes, what do you want?" And then I say, "Hey,
Jews, what do you want?"
Yes, what do you want? They're very Americans are a lot more easygoing. They're like, sir, I'm just not really interested. Blah blah blah. Israelis like, you call me tomorrow or you call me next year. I no sell. I no sell. There's
you know what? I love falafel.
Oh, so good.
Dude, and some kibbeh.
Kibbeh is good.
Oh my God, kibbeh is another level.
Kibbeh is a Syrian food, but it's like Syrian Jews also eat it.
My God, yes.
Kibbeh is delicious, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, phenomenal,
dude. We can definitely go to some. So there's a really good shawarma. You've heard of shawarma, right? Mm-hmm. Really good shawarma, kosher shawarma place called Levy's. It's right in the neighborhood here.
Oh, nice.
It's really good, man. I go there. It's right near my office, so I go there.
You go there often, yeah.
Good, oh.
You know where I've go a lot, over in Pompano Beach, Levy. But that's more Lebanese. But the food is close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Or Georgino's, which is Greek. Have you been to Georgino's Greek?
No, but I've had some good Greek stuff, man. You know what I like? Oh my God, what's it called? I'm forgetting it. It's a pastry because this Lebanese place probably has it. Oh my God, it's a cheese. Why am I forgetting what it's called? Knafa.
Kanafa, okay.
You've had it?
I probably, but the names, I remember the names
good.
of everything.
So good, dude.
It is good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very cool what you do. It's amazing that you have such a strong sense of leadership, and everything you've told me about your mother beating the crap out of you, which is interesting.
I hope
You
she doesn't
still have-
hear
you still
this
have some
because
bruises on your ass cheeks.
I'm getting in trouble if she hears this. But I'm 37, Mom. Can I speak my mind? No, man. Now she's like the sweetest thing ever. I'm like, you give like a 180, Mom. Here, it's like the sweetest thing ever now.
Well, she did her job. You're an adult. You have your kids. You're very successful, and she's proud of you, man. She doesn't need to whip your ass anymore.
Yeah, no, she definitely does. And actually, she, now she comes to me for stuff. So it's weird now. You know how the roles change now.
Yeah, dude.
But respects to her 100%. She talks. I put my head down at the end of the day. So she's mom.
That's what we need more of, man. We have totally lost the idea of respecting parents, and that is an American problem. I'm sure it's not only in America, but in other countries that are not as enjoyable to live in.
Right.
There's definitely a stronger sense of respecting parents, and I think that's also a large reason why we have a lot of this ridiculous shit going on nowadays, because kids are entitled now. They think they're important. It's also very easy to become famous nowadays. There's so many more people have notoriety now than they used to.
Yeah.
Because you can make podcasts and build a lot of views. And just back in the day, even 10 years ago, there were a handful of famous people, and that was the end of it. Now every other person has like a name.
Person, influencers. Well, you saw that girl that she took a sexy picture next to her dead father's casket. Yeah, you got to look it up. Influencer,
For what reason?
I don't know, I guess. That
Sexy
was her
picture next to her dead father's casket?
I guess she was, that's her way of coping with the, I don't know what. I forgot her name. I think it was Jenny. It's big news now. Look it up.
I got to check this out, dude.
You got to check this out. It is weird.
And all the Karens. I love the Karens. You ever see these videos? Oh, my God. It's so good.
It is, yeah.
Supervisor.
Someone's got to be married to that.
Oh, my God.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude. That's it, and it's just entitled. Well,
It is. And you know why? Most of these people are entitled because they don't, they're just used to, listen. In
used
this
to getting what
country,
they want.
Yeah, in this country, it's like you have internet at the tip of your fingers. You can eat what you want. Everything is so accessible and easy, where that's not the case in other countries. So some people become so entitled where they believe, this is, either you give me these or I die. And it's like, no, take it easy. There's so much to life other than that,
Yeah, that's the negative. The downside to having a free market like this is we're so used to certain luxuries that we always expect more and more and more. And to a degree, it's good to expect more because now our bare minimum is more than most countries would wish to have, right? There are countries that people don't have flowing water. They have to go to a well or whatever it is. People go to their fridge, you walk to your fridge, you press a button, you put your cup against the door, and cold water comes out. There's ice.
Easy.
And whenever you want, you just walk over there in your boxers and just take water. And you can just sit there you can do it a million times throughout the day.
Well, now that you said that, ice in Nicaragua, 80% of the nation doesn't have that, right? That luxury. Well, we'll call it luxury, right? It's just ice.
It's such a luxury.
But they don't have that. And some people have to go, to the store and buy like a bag of ice, the little bag of ice, which is not the ice we're used to here. Like pretty much you'll just grab a bag and just fill it with water.
Yeah.
Tie it and wrap it and put it into a freezer and just, it'll turn to ice and they'll sell that.
Wow.
So even, in some countries, people don't have that luxury to just get up from their couch, go to the fridge and just get ice, something as basic, as that.
What's crazy is that it's such a norm now, and we really take it for granted. I think about it. It's so crazy that we have that. It's amazing. Like we have our bare minimum is more than the biggest kings had.
Yes.
We're talking about kings that owned swaths of land, like huge parts of land, countries, continents, and they didn't have a fridge with water coming out.
It's incredible. They didn't have a fridge with water. But yeah, it's just out of this world.
Absolutely, it is. So, Rocky, we covered a hell of a lot of ground.
We did.
So I appreciate you coming on. That was a good hour and 6 minutes. So make sure to follow all of Rocky's social media. I'm going to drop the links. Definitely check out. You still have your courses, I imagine.
Yeah. So on my website, rockyzapata.org. So I have the Leadership University there and also the Safety Consulting there. In the page. So, if your organizations are looking for some consulting, you can be directed there. And if you're looking for some leadership, teachings, you can be directed there at rockyzapata.org.
Awesome. Like I said, I'm gonna have the links dropped. Also, check out the podcast that Rocky did with Brad Lee, Dropping Bombs podcast. Brad, I'm coming for you. Stop playing hard to get. Stop playing hard to get. I called him Betty White the other day.
Betty White.
Did I tell you why?
No, why?
He did a stand-up comedy skit recently. I don't know if you saw that. But he totally used a line that was already said a while back. He claims he'd never heard it. I don't know about that, bro, but I'll take your word for it. And basically he said he had this skit about how people say, "Oh, you should grow some balls. Balls are gentle, sensitive. Right. You should grow as a vagina because those can take a pounding, right?" So he said something along those lines, and I remember hearing that. Brad, but I remember it's hilarious. It's something he would totally come up with.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait a minute, I've heard that before. So I do some research, and I see that there were some stand-up comedians that it's already up there online, and then Betty White said this verbatim, not exactly what he said, but the same exact thing. And so now I call him Betty White sometimes. And he's like, who the hell is this 27-year-old asshole?
Betty White.
Yeah. They do kind of look alike, actually. They both have the white hair.
No, but thank you for the invite, Rafi. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you. I'm happy to have you on. It was really a pleasure, man. You have a great energy. You have so much gratitude, man. It's awesome to be around that. And thank you for coming. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.